So the next portfolio we're looking at is actually Jacob Provo. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Um, Still has a mask on. Wait, what is that? Anyone dislike that? What is that? Wait, is that Fallout? Anyways, Jacob's an environment artist at EA. It's in uh, New York, United States. And I think we'll start with the destroyed basement. This one, oh man, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But this one's really cool. So based on the original concept basement, the work can be found in Art Station. Oh yeah, this is just like trying to. Oh no, tracks. Thanks, man. I feel old. Taking that ArtStation link, instead of bracketing it like this, if you just put it at the end and just use the URL, it'll turn into a hot link that people can just click on, so they don't have to highlight this and paste it. But yeah, looking at this, I mean, it's a lot of Substance Painter, Designer, Maya, ZBrush, Unreal Engine. Wait, does that mean all of this was made by you, bro? That's crazy. I do like the Blorange action. We tend to say that at work. The Blorange effect, the blue and the orange, the cool in the hot. There's not even a lot of assets. Yeah, you notice that. It's pretty interesting. I'd be curious to see how this is constructed, to see how many are individual pieces, or like how this is how it's set up, right? Like, man, can you imagine if someone could build a script to take your environments and explode them, like you would explode a gun, and then put it back together? Oh, that'd be cool. So looking at this, it's pretty interesting. There's some stuff where I'm like, wait, why is that like that? But it's all so consistent that I don't really worry about it all that much. And there's a lot of detail that's in areas that help just make sense of the scene. If we copy this, we'll just bring it into the Photoshops. Let's delete these. Oh my God, flashbang. So sorry. Yeah, so if we look at this image, so first the image is really low res. I would love higher res imagery because you're gonna get aliasing in weird ways, or alias banding sometimes when if the image is low res enough. Dude, look at those spider webs. Those are serious. Wait, yeah, those are spider webs. I would I would have like an overall opacity slider to kind of control the density of those, because it looks like those webs are like perfectly caked with dust on every little centimeter or inch, depending on where you're from. Uh, the reason I wanted to bring this in here is I wanted to grab this beam and just like make it not bright. So if we grab this and I don't know if we can, I'll just paint on top of it, maybe some of this color, and then we just kind of blend it away, like blend it back into the scene. I mean, it probably needs to, because what's happening is it's really bright, right? And it looks like there's light leaking happening. Maybe it's coming from the little crack in the ceiling. We just go and we do. So if you right click on a layer, you can just convert to a smart object, and then you don't lose any. It's like non-destructive. So if I do Control L, I can push the highlights down, or like the bright point down, and kind of bring it in line with the rest of the ceiling. And then you'll see that it's just right here. Oh man, my camera's just chilling in the way. You'll see that the levels is here, and it's not permanent, right? So that's really nice for being able to control that type of stuff. And then you can put a mask on here, and then blend it away where it feels strange. And you can see just doing that already does a lot. The temperature for it is a little. I wonder if the camera raw filter stays in the stack. Let me see here. Oh no. Oh no, we're looking at the Ah. Let me camera raw filter this and see if we can push the temperature down. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Kinda. Is it? Yeah. Oh man, this is hard on the eyes. Do we get a preview when we do this? No, we don't. Okay. I'm just gonna lower the temp a little bit and then hit OK. Yeah, so seeing the temperature go down, and then you can lower the opacity if we need to fix that. Oh, it does stay in there. Oh my gosh. Next level. We're leveling up, guys. But yeah, blending that in, you can see like now all of a sudden it's just not sticking out. Yeah, these are also maybe a little bright. Or they're bright in the weird way. Like this is cool lighting coming in, but for whatever reason this is quite warm. But yeah, there's the details in this were really cool, and I'm a big fan of this scene. It's there's just these little nuances where I'm like, what's happening there? Why is that like that? You know, it's like if it was just a little bit lighter or darker, it would blend in. Maybe if we push it down like this, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work. Yeah, see, but then you have these really dark shadows as well. Like I'm not sure what that is, but it's just really strangely bright there. It might be the roughness being really wide, so it's kind of diffusing across the surface. Um, but yeah, I think we're getting a little nitpicky on this one, so we'll just move on to the other scenes. This one, I'm a big fan of. Paranoia. This scene's sick. Uh, it's got all the details that I like when I see environments, and I'm like, ooh, there's like so much storytelling going on. And you guys know I'm a big fan of sticky notes. So looking at this scene, like look at that when you go detail lighting, it's it's quite interesting how much information's retained. Like if we go and copy this, let's bring it into Photoshop. We'll delete that and we'll paste here. And let's just run like the level script on it to see where things are at. So there are areas that go completely black, right? And you want to watch out for those. You want to watch out for those areas. If we let me just do this and bring this way down. So if we really crush the range, oh man, I'm gonna have to. I'm going crazy. Um, if we really crush the range, you can see that there's only a handful of areas that are completely black. And yeah, I mean it's not all that insane, and you can see like even the brightest area, like maybe the brightest area could be, whoops, if we dupe this and then I just do run a levels on it and just kind of balance it a little bit more. Like look how long it takes for this area to become brighter than these, or as bright. So if it's blue, it's basically a white pixel. And so there's something I learned on the stream yesterday is the screen light sources, those should definitely become blue pretty quickly. Maybe they're emitting light, so they're affecting the ground. But this area, man, this should hit hard fast, right? That should become quite bright. And if we do this to try and get it there, and if we hide this, you can see what's happening. It's very yeah. It's blowing out in weird ways. If we duplicate this, and then let's just run a levels on here, or not a levels, but a midtones pass, maybe exposure a little bit higher, and really like pump this up, because this is where the light is actually hitting. Like that light ray is kind of weird to be seeing so gray. So what I do is you would pump that up, and then you could filter and then do like a blur and then a Gaussian blur. Oh wait, before we do that, let's Let's convert it to a smart object. That way we can, oh no. Oh no. Hang on. We'll go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we'll blur this to simulate our DOF. And we'll do a screen, and then we'll add a mask, invert the mask, and then this is like where the bloom is going to happen, right? So we're just going to pump that up in the mask. Oh, what? Oh, I see what I'm doing. There we go. So let's pump that up in the mask, and then you can go back because it's a smart object. Go to the Gaussian blur, and then control how blurry the DOF is, and then actually change the opacity to control that range. Actually, now that I've looked at DaVinci Resolve's like post-processing tools, I kind of feel like you shouldn't do any like bloom in engine. I'm almost feeling like you should be doing your bloom outside of that. Now the nice thing is this has all happened in this layer, right? So I could just paint where these screens are at as well and get the glow happening on those. And then of course just make sure you're toning it down. But it's getting that balance and really kind of like trying to bring the scene, bringing this up in the maybe in the mids, just to kind of pull the mid range up a little bit more. Because see, now I'm seeing more. And it's still a dark scene, but you're seeing more. The only other thing I would say is maybe like, I don't know, maybe it's too saturated on the walls. I'm not sure. It feels strange that these are so saturated, but I digress, and I'm talking about tons of little details. Yeah, Vince, it's weird. I haven't really decided. It depends how, like, quote unquote pure you want to be, if you know what I mean. Like, do you want the bloom in engine, or do you want to like really push? Oh, William. Oh yeah, dude, William's videos are great, but yeah, DaVinci Resolve, man, it's good. It's good. The post processing in that thing is super nice. I want to be the most pure. I mean, you can get this control, but you can do a whole lot with DaVinci Resolve. If you're going for like end result, like there isn't necessarily cheating other than like saying, oh, post work done in DaVinci Resolve versus post processing in UE, right? If you're doing a video, definitely got to look at that. Yeah, William's got a video actually where he plays with DaVinci Resolve. But I've been following it since I got into like filming and looking at like video. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve is free as well. Definitely worth the efforts. I would say I'd make a video on it, but there's already tons of videos on that tool. You can use that, and you can do everything that you would want to do for any post processing, as well as editing your videos for said things. It's great. It's great. What it does for free is more than enough for what we like to do for our portfolios. But yeah, so if we look at that and we just see like what the difference was and like how much we're boosting like the mid range, you're seeing a whole lot more of the scene, and it helps a lot with really visualizing what's there. Here it would probably help a little bit more, and you could see it's just being careful with how dark you go, because that's where, yeah, see, it's close. It's close to right balance, and I think it's close enough where I think this is intentionally done, that it's this black. It just doesn't leave you any room in post if you want to do any post processing. But yeah, this scene's super cool. There's so much character going on, so much storytelling happening. I guess I wish that the screens, maybe there were more variations in it. Look at that. Look at that hero piece. My God. But wouldn't the post be done by the point that this is posted. Vince, you're melting my brain, man. Oh yeah, see this one? There's so much happening and we're just missing it. We're just missing out. Like you want to take those mids and push them up, and you can see it starts to look a little washed, but that also kind of looks like it's cinematography. And there's so much happening. It's so cool. Maybe if this was a little clearer, it'd be easier to read, but ooh, I'm digging this one. Gaussian blur. Wow. And then we can screen. Dude, I should make a freaking script of this where I just select a layer. Okay, I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you guys that because people have been asking me how scripts work. So if you select a layer, we go to scripts. We're gonna make a new one, and we're gonna call it post bloom. Hit record. Now it's recording. I'm gonna right click on the layer. I'm going to convert to a smart object. I'm going to go to filters, do Gaussian blur, hit OK, switch it to screen, and then create a mask, and then invert the mask, and then stop the recording. So what I should be able to do now, famous last words, is dupe this layer, go to here, and hit play. And now if I paint, I have the bloom. Yeah, dude. Oh my God, game changer. So by doing that, we can go in and do this, and then we can just sit here. Yeah, after you hit record, it's recording your inputs. So see, now we can just adjust the, oh man, that's nice. I like it. And then if we wanted to, we can also like go to the levels here and really pump up the, it's all these adjustments, man. Work smart, not hard. Yes, that's a new one. But let's look at what else is going on in this portfolio. We've got a little bit more time. So we've got this scene. I remember feedbacking on this scene, and it was a lot of just in general the overgrowth blocking the visibility of storytelling. So like knowing that this is a quarantine outbreak and understanding where everything is at. Wow, it's actually become quite desaturated since we last looked at it. There's the breakdown as well. The Megascan assets used, you could probably do it as another image just so that it can be seen a little bit larger, because it'll help answer questions on like, is the grass not in here, or like where's the ivy? I think it's in there, and it's just a matter of like really seeing the image. One thing I've noticed with your work, Jacob, is the breakdowns. Let me scroll through here. The breakdowns tend to be pretty minimal. I would love to see how you're UVing, what your geometry looks like, what your wireframes, how you're dealing with your textures. Like, I want to see what your metal maps look like and how your roughness looks. Because like we look at this asset, this is cool because you're doing a single asset. Maybe we'll get we got a wireframe. We got a wireframe. But I want to see like, how are you dealing with your materials? What does that look like? I want to see it. There's some wood grain stuff happening, which is really nice. And it's directional as well based on like the piece. It's such a subtle detail, but important nonetheless, because it helps explain how you think about your surfaces. This area feels weird. I'm not sure that looks like it's inset. There's some extra geometry that maybe doesn't need to be there. Yeah, definitely a few spots in there. There may be some mirroring. This is where I'm like, okay, I wish I could see your UVs, because I want to see if you're mirroring that so that you can save UV space, or if that's just like you mirroring and not telling anyone why. You know what I mean? Pretty cool asset though. Is that a GE logo there? What is that? Yeah, the words are different on both sides, and the grain is not happening. But that's the thing. The words could be a floating decal. The grain could be a different UV set or a detail normal. That's looking at different UVs. So there's that understanding of what's happening that you want to know. And if you don't show it, we won't know. So we can't see how you were being cheeky or the like, oh, that's interesting. He solved it that way. I want to talk to him about that. You know, it can be the kickoff to like why they contact you for an interview. Would you say that using Megascans in portfolio presentation is something to avoid, or is it okay? I would say it's fine, especially with bigger environments. Like if you're building an abandoned location, there's things that you're going to want to build, and then there's things that are just going to slow you down that you don't really want to build. Like let's say cardboard boxes is a good example. Or if you have a kitchen and you have a bunch of plates and dishes and like spoons and forks and stuff, if you can find those online, put them in there. Like it's honestly, it's half of the job of being a level artist is just using content that already exists and then requesting the things that you don't have for like either outsourcing or internal props team to build, or yourself if the team is small enough. I don't think there's anything wrong with using assets from marketplaces. Doesn't have to be Megascans. It could be a bunch of other stuff. But you don't want to overdo. You don't want to overdo it either. Ultra scans. Yeah, and definitely don't claim them as your own. I think it would be really interesting actually to, if you had a render, like say you've got this environment. Oh man, what? No, I hit his likes. Say you've got a render like this. If you had a render that showed this shot and then it highlighted in like a blue and then highlighted in a green or something, what's Megascan and what's not? That's, or like what's from marketplaces and what's not from marketplaces. I think that would be really cool because it would help me understand what you wanted to take shortcuts on. Like, oh, like this person obviously didn't want to do all the little small stuff like sticky notes or like trash on the ground or decals. Like that makes total sense. It's sped up the process for the artist to just get on with making the scene. Like, oh wow, they actually made that graffiti themselves. Like, okay, how did that work? You know, and being able to, it's a conversation point as well as like an understanding between the viewer and the artist. I think that's probably the best way to describe using scans. You can also go 100% scans. Just make sure you say it. And just know that an entire portfolio made of 100% scans doesn't really help you as much as being able to show that you can actually make the assets as well. Senpai, there is a process. There's a forum that I don't think is open right now. But if you look at that URL, that'll probably help you get to the page where you will see it. I can open it up after the stream ends, and then you can apply directly in that Notion page, and it will add you to a queue. I think it's already gone into the next year, so there's a little bit of a wait. But yeah, Jacob, I know you're not here. If you've got questions, just hit me up. I'm on the Discord, of course, the Discord, and yeah, you can ping me with any questions you have, or like where you want to head with your portfolio next. Super cool.